Am I the a-hole stories? Update, am I the a-hole for making my father kick out SIL and brother? Original post. I, 30 female, am currently in a leading position of a restaurant franchise started by me and my father. We live in an Islamic country, so me being one of the owners is very rare. I have 3 siblings, 1 brother, 29 male, and 2 sisters, twins 13 female. The business started by me, my father and his friend's son, became extremely successful. My brother was never interested in it, but after it grew, my father provided him a position in IT department. He did his degree in software engineering. Apart from that, because we were not that well off, my father also provides every family member with a set allowance separate from our salaries. My brother got married a year ago and his wife also receives it. My father now plans to retire and my sister-in-law thinks it's now brother's turn to be the man of the house. She has been making a lot of remarks lately. We all live together. In any normal situation this would have been the case, but I own this business too, and have been the one putting in most of the work. I ignored her in the beginning. My mom has been asking me to think about marriage as well. As she was talking to me, my sister-in-law told me that I really should, since my father will retire and my brother will be the one in charge. So, I told her these are all her delusions, since after my father, it is me who is the candidate. My father wishes as well, and I already own part of the business. Upon hearing this, she became quiet but has been making my mom to turn against me. My mom was always against me working, but because of my father, she couldn't do anything. 3 days ago, my father announced that he was retiring and have decided to let me take the lead now. He acknowledged my hard work, and said I was most suited. My sister-in-law and my mother both opposed it, very strongly. According to them, it's the birthright of my brother, the only son, to take the business. My father shut it down then, but my sister-in-law in the moment pointed at me, and told me I was a thief, and I will burn in hell, and said a lot of things. My father then told both of my brother and sister to get out of his house, and if they don't leave now my brother can say goodbye to his job and allowance too. They have left, but I have been getting messages from relatives, and even my own mother, about how greedy I am, and for stealing something that belonged to my brother. I was very convinced in the beginning, but now actually hearing these things, and knowing my religion, I think what they are saying is true and wanted judgment of internet strangers to finally decide something. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. And it is culture bias, not religion. I am Muslim too. Nothing in Islam supports your family's negative claims. Girl, you earned your position. Enjoy your hard work. Also, don't worry about getting married unless you want to. Not the a-hole. You didn't even do anything to your brother. You didn't badmouth him or anything. You worked your butt off making the business work, and your dad approved enough to leave the company to you, out of his own free will. Your brother is an entitled brat who needs to accept that you were the one that did all of the work, and should reap the rewards from it. Not the a-hole. You are smart and amazing. You own 1/3 of the business, and your dad's friend's son owns 1/3, and your father owns 1/3. Your father needs to transfer his interest in the business. You pay him by payment, or whoever it benefits him and you, otherwise, it's going to be a crap show. Your brother needs to go, because in a family business, having your brother tear down your reputation and undermine your authority at work, it's going to cause huge problems. Not the a-hole. There is no such thing as birthright for other people's hard work. Your sister-in-law, your brother and mom, all have twisted mindsets. If there is a hell, it will not be there to punish people for their hard work, but evildoers and hypocrites. Not that I believe in a hell. Now for the update. At the time of writing that post, I was very emotional, and it really hurt to see my mother picking a side against me. So, after a week, my brother contacted me. He apologized for his wife's behavior. He said he didn't have the guts to tell his wife he actually doesn't want to anything to do with the business. He said he was always content with what he had, and knew from the start that it should be me. He actually saw the post, we talked a lot, and before his marriage, we actually used to be really close, and how he wants the same relationship back. I was happy to hear that. He is my only brother and I love him to death, but I did warn him about his wife. He just said he is considering everything right now, and this whole incident has opened his eyes. I talked to my mom after that. She admits that she wants me to just get married. She always wished that for me, but I was able to make her realize that this is what actually I want to do with my life. She has not been able to fully accept it yet, but she is getting there. As for my father, after that whole incident, he has already put everything in place and actually wanted me to take the position in front of him, so that no one can contest it. I am in a better place than I had been when I was writing my post. Thank you Reddit for making me realize my importance. Thank you everyone who reached out. I cannot thank you guys enough. Now for some comments. I'm glad now things are more calm. But you should be ready to fight in the future. Your father is supporting you now. Without him, the situation will be harder. You deserve to be in charge, you created the business. Never think otherwise, and don't let others control your life. Do the best for you. You're a strong woman. Probably it's not the comment you expect, but don't trust family, except your father. Take care of yourself first. I'm glad everything seemed to have worked out for you. Good luck on your business. Thank you so much. I'm so glad this has worked out so well for you, and that your brother is supporting you. Thank you. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for losing it when my husband used my brother's surgery money to buy his dad a car? I, 25 female, have been married to my husband, 27 male, for 2 years. My mom passed away recently and I let my brother, 16, move in with us. I'm taking care of everything for him. His education, his health, everything. He has a chronic respiratory disease and he already has a savings account because my mom was saving up for his surgery in 2021. I moved the money into our account for several reasons, including issues from the bank itself. And since I work, I started contributing as well. My husband knows well that the money isn't for us just because it is in our account. I repeatedly told him that he cannot make any purchases, nor move the money without talking to me to make sure we don't touch the money that belongs to my brother. I just found out 2 days ago that my husband bought his dad a car that cost nearly $13K. I was confused. I only heard this from his parents. We only had about $6K in our account aside from my brother's money. I got home and I asked him where he got the money. First, he said he'd talk about it in the morning because he was too tired to argue with me. My patience was running out. I asked him again and he told me he used some of my brother's money to pay for the car. I was stunned. He started making excuses about how his dad needed it, and how much he was struggling and no one was willing to help. He said he didn't want to buy a cheap car so he won't have to suffer and take it to the shop every other day. I lost it. I yelled at him and told him that this money was for my brother that my mom saved for his condition. He said that he knew, and didn't have a choice. Said that he didn't want to tell me because of my reaction, and that he borrowed some of the money and will find a way to pay it back soon. We got into a huge argument that lasted for 2 hours. I called his mom and told her about the car my father-in-law got. That he used my brother's money without even telling me. He lashed out at me after his mom found out, and he got into an argument with his parents. He said that I shouldn't get them involved, and I should have just taken his word instead of freaking out and yelling at him. I couldn't take it. I took my brother and went to stay with my aunt. He never stopped calling and apologizing, calling himself stupid and just wanting to help his dad. I haven't replied to his texts and my aunt said that I shouldn't yell at him, and instead sat down for a conversation. He keeps saying he'll pay the money back, but I know he can't. Now for the top comments. Absolutely not the a-hole. Your husband stole money from a sick minor. He is in the wrong and he needs to fix his screw up. Not the a-hole. Husband definitely knew what he was doing. He took the opportunity and does not care one bit. OP. Take the car back. It was bought under false pretenses. The money was not his to take. Separate your finances now, if you choose to stay with your husband, though I personally feel that this is grounds for divorce. Yeah, this absolutely sounds like OP's husband realized he wouldn't get permission if he asked for the money, so he thought he'd ask for forgiveness instead. What an a-hole. Not the a-hole OP, not in the slightest. Not the a-hole your husband stole from you. To be honest, you should have kept it in a separate account, but that's not the issue here. He told you, I'll find some way to pay you back. That's code for, I don't respect you, and I'm never going to pay you back. Don't forget how he started the conversation with, we'll talk about this tomorrow, I'm too tired to argue, aka, I know I did wrong, but we'll talk about it when I want to. He went behind his wife's back, stole money from a sick minor, and then tried to control the negative reaction he knew he was going to get. He took, asking for forgiveness is better than asking for permission to a whole new level. I see no respect shown to his wife, just narcissistic manipulation. Hi OP. Firstly, I'm sorry that you've lost your mother, what an awful thing to go through so young. You sound wonderfully kind to take care of your brother like that. First he said he'd talk about it in the morning, because he was too tired to argue with me. Dear Lord, I'm already in the mood to deck the sky. Your husband most certainly did have a choice, he knew that that was not his money. Please seek legal advice to get away from him, and I know people always are quick to spout divorce, but he sounds like he just does not respect you at all. Please get written evidence from the bank of the transaction, written evidence from his parents to show that he did not have permission to use that money for a car. I had no idea. I'm shocked that he thought that buying a car was more important than my brother's surgery. He came up with a lot of excuses, one of them was that he'll get the money back soon, but he's selfish to think his dad is suffering and my brother is not. Now for the last story. My family disowned me because I kicked out my homeless pregnant sister. So I, 37 male, have a sister, 30 female, she's my parents' golden child. Growing up, she was extremely spoiled and blamed everyone else for her bad decisions. She has found herself homeless recently, because instead of facing her husband when he found out she'd been having an affair with a married co-worker, who might be the baby's father, she ghosted him and showed up at my door 500 kilometers away. My wife, 36 female, was against the idea at first, because there's bad blood between them. She announced her engagement at our wedding, but changed her mind after my mom, brothers, and sister begged her. I told her to block them and I'd pay for a hotel for my sister, because I know she's trouble, and she'd cry on the phone to my mom the minute we do something she didn't like. My wife told my sister, if she put one foot out of line, she'd be gone. Things were okay for a few days, but then my sister started screaming and ordering our kids, 4 female, 6 male, and 7 male, around, even went so far as to kick them out of the sitting room so she could lay on the sofa and watch TV. She doesn't clean up after herself, demands me to be her personal chef/driver, and even takes food off our plates. My wife just walks out to the back garden and smokes a cigarette, which she recently started doing again. It all came to a head last week, when my wife drove my sister for her scan. She said, instead of me cooking, she'd get the kids McDonald's for a one-off treat. A few hours later, my wife returned shaking with rage. Obviously my kids are confused. At this stage, my sister walks in with tears in her eyes, trying to make a beeline for the stairs. My wife says, no, you come back, look at those kids in the eyes, and tell them what you did. Don't even try with the crocodile tears. Tell them. Tell them. My sister said, in tears. The smell of the food put her cravings into overdrive, and while my sister was at the petrol station she tasted their food. My wife then went crazy, and said when she came out, she saw her digging into their food and mocked the situation. I told my wife and sister to calm down, because the kids were crying, and we'd, wife, me and the kids, would go out to a restaurant and get food. I turned to my sister, and told her I was disappointed in her, and that she should apologize to my wife and kids. She told me my wife was stressing her out, and expect the trouble, then went up to her room. We turned off our phones, had a nice meal, and the mood was better, until we turned on our phones to Facebook posts, voicemails, and texts, that weren't anyway nice. My wife busted out crying, saying she can't take her anymore, and she's sick of my family, that it's either them or her. So obviously, I choose her. When we got home, my sister smugly came down the stairs. She clearly noticed my wife has just been crying, and asked her, did she have anything to say to her? My wife told her get the hell out of our house. As predicted, my sister started crying, making excuses, blaming everything but herself. I told her I didn't want to hear it, I was calling her a taxi and she left. My family went nuts, then blocked us on everything and disowned my kids. So guys, tell me, what should I do from here? Now for the top comments. Give this some time and space, emotions are clearly very high right now. Staying off social media, and not responding to calls or emails is probably for the best. Your kids probably also need a sit down about what happened, because I'm sure it was immensely traumatizing for them to see the tension in the house, as well as witness how it came to a head. My youngest is having nightmares of her aunt being a monster, so yeah, trying to figure out what I'm going to do about that situation. Sister actually asked, do you have anything to say to me? That was dumb. Dude, this isn't your circus and she isn't your monkey. Send her to your parents. Sounds like they raised a monster and they can deal with her. I think she was expecting an apology. She used to do it to us as kids. She'd do something nasty, and when we'd get upset, my parents would make us apologize to her. Why don't your parents take her in? To be honest, I only browsed, but you're not the a-hole just based on the title. It's your house. Your call. If she's upsetting the family, I don't give a damn. Bye. My parents live in the same town as her husband, who's she been avoiding. Not your problem. This woman is a danger to your family. She's abusive and disrespectful. If your family can't understand that, then they are also the same. I'm sorry that it sucks, but stick up for your immediate family first. Yes, definitely my wife is an amazing woman, who in my opinion, took crap from my family for too long. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.